But God's trying to say here with this first verse, even though the listing is about the sins and the problems that Israel has decided to be in that state, he says, look, the Lord's hand is not shortened. So let me just say this. Obviously, always say, Lord, I want to be, in favor with you. But when I need something, God, let me just say this. God's hand is not too short to give us what we need. I don't care what it is. You can take it as an individual, whatever your needs are. You say, Lord, I need things. God knows our needs. Matter of fact, over there in the New Testament, sometimes he says, you don't need to keep, he says, I know what you need. And there's something about going to God and getting things. I get that there's the importunity, but if you look at that lesson itself, a lot of times what we ought to be is saying, Lord, I'm asking you on behalf of another person, and I'm going to keep asking until you give it to me. Now, that's what Luke 11 was about. The friend came to the friend and in his journey, and he says, hey, I just showed up here. And the man in which he came to his house says, I don't have any bread to give this man. And it's customary if a friend shows up, the hospitality is, I'm going to feed the person and take care of him. And he says, I don't have anything. And it was midnight. So he goes next door and wakes up his neighbor and says, look, I don't have anything. I need to get something from you. Well, he says, look, it's late. We're all in bed. I can't give anything. You're going to wake up everybody. I can't do anything. It's too late. Good night. Well, he keeps knocking. He says, I can't go back to my friends. I don't have anything for you. And God's obviously not trying to give us a lesson in hospitality. And it goes on there to say, look, God's trying to say, look, I'm God and I'll give you things. But when you look at that illustration, it was about what you can do to help somebody else. And you look at the Bible, God says, I know what my people need, and I know what you need. And God's hand is not shortened to give us what we need, and God can do it. And so I'm just trying to say, make sure you're always in the position where God, I understand what you can do, and God doesn't always give it right now. As I said this morning, I do believe sometimes if God doesn't do it like that, we get a little bit miffed, a little bit angry, and God says, well, won't you spend some time with me? Imagine if the only conversation I had with you and you had with me was you wanted something, I gave it to you, and I never saw you again. And then you came back, or vice versa. That's not a healthy relationship. God says, I want you to understand that I want to be with you, and certainly I can give you what you need. But God's hand is not shortened.